Okay, well, folks are just joining us a little bit by little bit. So um, we have to applaud you folks for taking out time in your busy schedule to join us for a meeting like this on a Sunday afternoon, because we know that there's a lot of other things that you could be doing with your time. But we're going to go ahead and get started out of respect for your time, because we don't want to have a protracted meeting, but we do want to make sure that we share with you as much information as we possibly can that can help you in making decisions about your health and well-being. So for the record, this is the beginning of our program. My name is Jonathan Jones. I'm a freedom health advocate with Engage Global. I also happen to have one of my own companies where I'm the research director for the Healthcare Support Association of America. And this particular program that we have each Sunday is sponsored by the Healthcare Support Association of America, but anyone is welcome. Our objective here is just to pass on carefully validated and researched information that we share with anyone who would like to have access to it. I'm not a medical doctor, and I don't recommend that you do anything that I say. In fact, I highly recommend that you seek the competent medical advice of a professional that you trust. So don't take anybody's word for anything when it comes to your health and well-being. However, when there is valid information and science and proven information, you should take it into consideration, because it's not what you know that's going to make the difference in your health. It could very well be what you don't know that could make the biggest difference. I know that for me and my family, it was a major factor. My mother was battling with diabetes for years, and that's what got me interested in diabetes. In fact, on the day that she would die, she was in the intensive care unit, and I asked the intensive care nurse, "So what are you doing for my mom?" And she says, "Well, we're monitoring her very closely." And my face kind of bunched up. I said, "I'm doing that." I figured for $10,000 a day, they were doing a little bit more than just monitoring her. I said, "Okay, but what are you doing to actually make her better?" And the woman gave me the deer in the headlight look. And she said, "To be honest with you, Jonathan, we're praying for her immune system to kick in." And my world fell apart at that moment. I'm a strong believer in the power of prayer. I had that covered. I had people who actually knew God's name taking care of that. And I figured that the hospital, that's the highest level of care that you could get. They were doing a little bit more and something more tangible to help my mom. But they basically said that they didn't have an immune system kicker in her. And so essentially, if one did not miraculously show up very soon, my mother was not going to make it. And it turns out that we already had the immune system kicker in hers, but didn't know its value. And my mother would not survive that day. So that helped me to appreciate that it's not what you know, it's what you don't know. My mom kept telling me, "Well, I got to check with my doctor first." So from that point on, I decided I would never be in a position where someone could use that rebuttal. I have to check with my doctor first and not be able to give them an adequate answer to any question that they have about what they could potentially do to take control of their health so that they could take control. Nothing that we say today, nothing that we share with you is intended to be construed as a treatment or cure for any disease state. Only the government, only the FDA can declare something to be a treatment or a cure for disease. We're talking about supplements and food that's missing from your food. That's all this is. And we can assure you that there are ways that you can do something to cause your immune system to do a little bit more than it's doing on its own. So our subject for today, as we mentioned in our initial announcement, was that we were going to be talking about diabetes. So I'm going to get to the beginning of our PowerPoint presentation. I just got a few slides I want to share with you, so you don't have to. You're not going to be loaded down with a ton of slides, but I am going to use it to try to illustrate some points for you to help you to. Okay, now come on. There was a time when I used to tell people that my original background was computer electronics, and every time I said that, I'd have some technical problem that would have an issue. So I don't tell anybody anymore that I used to be in computer electronics, and that was my real vocation. But I did change from that and switch completely over to just focusing in on primarily on health related matters from that point on. But the question that we're really addressing today is why live with diabetes? You're going to be hearing testimonials later today also. So and keep in mind that testimonies are purely anecdotal. The information that we're sharing with you is just information that you can add to your knowledge base, information that you can take into consideration when making a decision about your health and well-being. So when it comes to diabetes, the number of people, there's 330 some odd million people in the United States. And they are projecting that within the next 10 years or so, that the number of people with diabetes or pre-diabetic will be hitting the 140 some odd million range. 30+% is what they're projecting to be diabetic or pre-diabetic. So currently, right now, it's already in the 120 some million range. The number one killer in the United States is still heart disease. Number two is cancer. Number three might surprise you. It's not diabetes. Number three is iatrogenics or medical mistakes. So just wrap your mind around. Number four, by the way, is diabetes. And there's some scientists who believe that diabetes and heart disease should be one and the same. So you can kind of make your decision as to where diabetes lands on the scale. But number one, number two, and number four, those require treatment. Those require the American medical system. So number one, number two, number four are the biggest contributors to the number three leading cause of death, medical mistakes, or the American healthcare system. So if that sounds a little bit confusing to you, it should, because in this country spends more than the top 8 countries in the world combined on healthcare. But the quality of healthcare is in the bottom 10%. Try to figure that one out. Thus, our recommendation is to take charge of your health. Do something for yourself. Don't just live with diabetes. Don't just live with anything. Do something to improve your lot in life. Up until now, what would your doctor say? Make better choices as far as your diet is concerned. Eat better. Monitor your sugar levels. Monitor your vitals. Keep track of what you're doing. Sugar is so important. You'll get treatment, but what you eat, those are the suggestions that are given for the most part, is to resolve this. I grew up with it because my mom was always eating some of the wrong things. And back in the day, we weren't aware that there were pesticides on the food. We weren't aware that foods had been genetically re-engineered. We weren't aware that those things were harmful, but we know better now. So because we know better, we can make better choices. So I encourage you to eat as organic as possible and as non-GMO as possible. I don't encourage fanaticism, but I do encourage you to eat as clean as you can. That would be very wise. It's to your benefit. And the more raw, green, leafy foods you can eat, the better. So that suggestion still stands. But it doesn't change the fact that the impact of diabetes is still very real. So these are just some of the problems that diabetics suffer with. And if you are a diabetic, you're no stranger to any of this. I didn't know what nephropathy was until my mother struggled to say it. And sure enough, that eventually would be what caused her to die. She had kidney problems, and eventually she was dialyzing, and eventually she had heart problems, and eventually she got a pulmonary embolism, and eventually her heart simply stopped. And she suffered with neuropathy, peripheral neuropathy, for as long as I can remember. I remember she went to the doctor, and they took out a sewing needle out of her heel. She didn't even know it was there. I changed the carpet in her house and put down tile, and she called me up screaming one day. She says, "You're not going to believe this," because I'd given her something natural to improve her circulation. And she her circulation started coming back in her legs, and she felt the sensation of cold from the tile for the first time. She'd forgotten what it felt like, and she thought something was attacking her. So neuropathy is very real. It's a serious problem, and it leads to amputation. But heart problems, cataract, glaucoma, the list just goes on and on and on. The most egregious, of course, is stroke and heart attack. But none of these things do you want to have to deal with. The problem is that we blame all these things on diabetes itself. But the truth of the matter is, if you are the one who is diabetic, or you are caring for someone who's diabetic, just look at the side effects. Take the time to look at the side effects of the treatment for the diabetes. Look at the side effects of the treatment for the diabetes. Often it's the treatment that's causing most of these problems that you're dealing with. For example, here's one list. I just did a quick Google just to see what kind of adverse reactions there were, or adverse issues came with one of the most common treatment. And look at the list on the left side there: respiratory infection, edema, hypertension, influenza, and so on and so on and so on. These are just some of the adverse events that people had reporting as a result of treatment for their type 2 diabetes. And then, of course, there's this particular treatment for diabetes. In some countries, this particular treatment here is banned. Some countries won't even allow it. But what we can say categorically is that a diabetic has been defined as one of many glutathione deficient states. Glutathione is the body's master antioxidant. So if you can do something to impact your body's immune system, there's a potential impact to all kinds of diseases or issues that your body might be suffering with. This was a common treatment within the past couple of years for the big virus that's been going around right now. And they would also prescribe other treatments like steroids. And there's been studies showing that steroids for just a short period of time could be risky. It leads to all kinds of problems. And do you look at the list there in that first paragraph? Besides cardiovascular disease, osteoporosis, cataracts, it can also cause diabetes. And I'm just going to tell you a brief story about my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law was having problems with her back, her sciatic, and another nerve issue she was dealing with. So finally she got to the point where she just couldn't take it anymore. She went to the doctor. "You got to give me something." The doctor gave her an injection, and the injection, sure enough, took the pain down. But about within the next 6 months or so, my mother-in-law came down with diabetes, and she went back to the doctor, and she says, "Well, how did I get diabetes? Well, what happened?" She said, "Well, that's a side effect of the medication I gave you." She said, "Well, why didn't you tell me that?" "Well, you didn't ask." Educate yourself. And so now my mother-in-law has been dealing with diabetes ever since she decided that she could no longer live with pain. Steroids can cause it. So that kind of brings us to our subject matter. We say, why live with diabetes? Well, in the back of this man's mind, I'm sure he was thinking that same thing. At least at some point he did, because one of the clinical studies that he did just so happens that all the participants' A1Cs improved. These were soldiers on the battlefield, that all their type 2 diabetes started reconciling. He said, what in the world is going on here? So they decided to take a closer look at it and did an actual official clinical study. But Dr. Kedar Prasad is the gentleman who's the brains behind a supplement that caught my attention. I thought I'd already had the supplements of supplements, to be quite honest with you, long before Jeff and Helen Ashby knocked on my door for an appointment that we had. I thought I already had some of the best things that there were on the planet for good health. But they introduced me to this man, Dr. Kedar Prasad. He's a PhD, world-renowned scientist and researcher, the world's first radiation biologist PhD, the first in the world. He went to a seven-year program and finished it in 3 years. So we're talking about a brainiac here. He finished a 7-year program in 3 years and became the world's first radiation biologist. He's been published more than 250 times. And I've heard doctors say to me that if they've been published once or twice in their career, they've lived. Well, this man has figured out 250 things that other brilliant minds hadn't thought of yet. That's the caliber that he's in. He's authored more than 31 books. He's working on his 32nd book right now. Former member of the Nobel Peace Prize nominating committee. He was a contemporaneous with Dr. Linus Pauling. Dr. Linus Pauling was his mentor, and he's the one that put him on track to taking a closer look at antioxidants and that level of research. Dr. Prasad, brilliant man. You're going to love him. We'll be interviewing him in a couple of weeks right here on this program once again. We just had a nice interview with him about a week ago on the subject of cancer, because he's written books on how micronutrients can have an impact on cancer. He's also written a book on how micronutrients can have an impact on diabetes. So I'm going to give you some excerpts of the patent that he has on this, by the way. But he's the brain behind this particular product right here, the world's most scientifically validated supplement, MicroDaily. This is the original formula. This was the formula that was the same as the original product named MMF, or military micronutrient formula. About $24 million of government funding and research went into this product. And for a while, only the military had access to it. It was being used by the elite soldiers on the battlefield, because Dr. Prasad approached them and said, wouldn't you like to have a way for your soldiers to remain in optimal health in the most toxic environments on the planet? And they said, yeah, we're interested in that. And he proved that he had something that was unique and surpassed anything that they had ever seen before. So here's just a few of the benefits of MicroDaily. And this is the EMF formula. It has all of his radiation biology research in it. The original formula, all the way up to this one, the most advanced formula, has all of the radiation research in it. All of his discoveries about managing and ameliorating radiation, including 5G and EMF, all of that is packed into his formulation. This is the highest, most powerful formula. There's going to be a detailed discussion on this, by the way, this coming Wednesday night. And I'm going to ask Jeff to share information with you on that. We'll do a screen share so you can have the Zoom information on, because you want to be there this Wednesday night when Dr. Prasad and another expert on EMF, Dr. EMF himself, and these two brains are going to be talking about EMF and why you will want to make sure that this is part of your diet. So that's this coming Wednesday night. You can have that. So Jeff should do a screen share on that, so you'll have that information by the end of our discussion. But here's a list of the science, the clinical studies that was done by Dr. Prasad, where he headed up the team. All of these are interesting. Take a look at the first one, for example, fruit fly. He described this last week, where they gene spliced in a gene in the DNA of a fruit fly so the fruit fly could get cancer. And then they fed the fruit fly MicroDaily, these nutrients, a special formula, and they could tell the difference between the fruit flies that didn't have MicroDaily and the ones who did. The ones who didn't have it got cancer. The ones who were being fed micronutrients didn't develop tumors. So they just kind of put two and two together here, that there's something here. But the point that we really want to focus our attention on is down here on the bottom. The study that they did, of course, my stylus doesn't want to work, but that's all right, on type 2 diabetes protection. That was done at Walter Reed National Military Medical Academy. And that study is where they were able to establish quite factually that there's a definite causal connection between raising antioxidant levels, glutathione levels in the body, and being able to better manage how the body metabolizes sugar. They proved it. There's no question about it. It led to a patent being applied for and secured. That research led to the application for a patent and it being granted. October 20th, 2009. Why did this not make major news? Every time you hear about a new drug that can treat cancer, every time you hear about a new drug that can cure sexual dysfunction, you hear about those. Lipitor or cholesterol lowering, all those things you hear about that, but we didn't hear anything about this patented product that had an impact on diabetes. Well, I'm going to share with you just a little bit of the information. This is the actual screenshot of the patent. I went online and found it. And that's exactly what it says. So that was not something that was made up. So I dug and went looking for it because, diabetes is the reason I got into this particular line of work, was because I watched my mother die because they didn't have an immune system kicker in her. So I'm here to tell you that this is the best immune system kicker in her that I found so far in the category that we're looking at on the screen. I've never seen any vitamin that had a patent that included the words treatment for diabetes mellitus. Now, when you think of diabetes, right, we always think of type 1 and type 2. They now think that there's 5 different types of diabetes. Did you know that? 5 different types of diabetes. Most of them are in the pre-diabetic category. So metabolic syndrome, they actually say that that's a form of diabetes. So there are people walking around with diabetes or on the verge of diabetes and don't even know it. That's a dangerous place to be in. You can lose your eyes. You can lose limbs over that. I know one gentleman over in Las Vegas, and sure enough, he lost his eyesight because he was walking around like everything was fine, and he went blind, and eventually diabetes killed him. But here in the patent, this is one of the things that the patent says: the formulation for minimizing damage to at least one of the cells, organs, systems within the body of the subject afflicted with diabetes mellitus. So we're talking about the pancreas, right? So it's right in the abstract as the purpose for the patent. Mechanism of this action will involve some degree of protection of the pancreatic beta cells against free radical damage from excess oxidative stress. Now, we didn't talk anything at all about oxidative stress in this presentation, but let me tell you something. The fact that oxidative stress exists and free radical damage exists and is coming into your body, my body, everyone's body every single day means that the potential for the pancreatic beta cells being attacked is very real. It's so real. I don't know if you saw this or not, but about 2 weeks ago, they just recently announced that they have been able to in vitro grow beta cells. They've now been able to harvest stem cells, inject them in the body, and they tried it on the first human where this full-blown type 1 diabetic regrew beta cells on his pancreas. The beta cells are important because that's what tells the pancreas whether or not it should release insulin into the body. That's how critical the beta cells are. The problem is the immune system attacks the beta cells. Why would your immune system attack your beta cells? Why is the immune system working against you? Because it's confused because of toxins, chemicals, oxidative stress. The immune system gets confused and it starts to think that your beta cells are the enemy. Attacks them, blocks them. They can't figure out that they need to release insulin. So there you go, diabetes. Dr. Prasad's patent indicates that there's a mechanism of action that would allow some degree of protection against beta cells damaged by oxidative stress. And the formula has been proven. It says here, orally to subject in the need, the person who needs it is taking it orally. And the purpose of it was to mitigate, if not entirely eliminate, the symptoms of diabetes mellitus. They granted the patent. We could sit here and go through the whole patent in detail. I've done that with Dr. Prasad. He went through the entire thing and laid out what happened, all the research, everything that they did. You can find some of those. I'll send you a link to some of the recordings of what we went through as we gone through his patent. But to just land the plane, the patent was granted. So Dr. Prasad and his team was able to sufficiently prove that adding a micronutrient to the diet can have a definite impact on someone who's dealing with diabetes mellitus. And there it is. By this point, the only thing I should be saying next is, are there any questions? But I'm just going to show you real quick. These are the ingredients, because that's sometimes what the questions are. And before you say it, I'm going to say it for you. No, it's not just a multivitamin, because I've had people say it to me, oh, I take all that stuff already anyway. My question to you then is, why are you dealing with diabetes so bad? What happened to your foot? I don't say that. I'm just using that metaphorically to get your attention. My real response is, this list that you're looking at is different. It's not just vitamin A, it's not just vitamin C, it's not just vitamin E. Dr. Prasad was able to identify natural sources for all of these components and secure them from the best sources and get the exact right quantities that would help to optimize the immune system. So that's the difference with this. It's not just a multivitamin. $24 million of research does not produce something that you can buy off the shelf at CVS. Then Dr. Prasad took it up a notch and went to the maximum absorption formula, the methylated formula, the purple bottle, the methylated formula, so higher level of absorption. The difference is with the B12 and the B9. They're in the methylated form, so your body can absorb them better, folate and B12. Before you say, what's the big deal about being able to absorb B12? Let me just tell you that your entire central nervous system is connected to that. As good as the original formula is, that's the one all the patents was granted for. That's the one all the clinical studies have been done on. This one takes it up another notch. And the one that takes it all the way to the max is the EMF formula. That's the red bottle. Okay? So there you have it. Now I get to the point where are there any questions? The answer to the next most obvious question is just get back with the person who invited you to this discussion, and they'll show you how to get a subscription so you can enjoy a 25% discount on the product. Some ask about the prices. This one I think is $53 a month. This one is $63, and this one is $73. Let me put little dollar signs on there so that you don't think that that's talking about the number of capsules in the bottle. So those are the basic prices for the product on subscription. There are ways that you can get your product free. There are rebate programs, rewards points that you accrue. There's an affiliate program if you decide that you want to tell somebody else about it. And all of that are just ways that you can get your product for free. So that's the bottom line when it comes to dealing with this matter of diabetes. The last screen, you can see the title of that slide is actually one of my favorite. And you would think that maybe it was an accident, but I still believe that. I still feel that way. There was a documentary that ran, I think it's still available now on YouTube. Why isn't there a war on diabetes? There should be. 130 million people that are diabetic or pre-diabetic. Why don't they declare war on that? I just don't quite get it. But right now, you have a tool. You have ammunition right now that can make a difference for you if you want to deal with, to do something about an issue that might be plaguing you or someone that you care about. So let's pause here for just a second. And Jeff Ashby is co-host. Why can't I get this off my screen, Jeff? Chat. Okay, well, Jeff, let me just let you see if you can invite someone. I know that you got a couple of people lined up that may have had some benefits from adding this micronutrient to their diet and saw some results when it comes to exactly what the subject matter is. So Jeff Ashby, let me let you go ahead and help us with that, please.
We'll do that, Jonathan. And you know what? I just thank you for allowing me to come on and be co-host here on this incredible Sunday afternoon, early evening as we're moving into spring. We look outside and we see the earth coming back alive after winter. And people want to get out. They want to enjoy this. And
it's
what
always been alive in Fort Lauderdale, Jeff. Sorry.
All right. Okay. So I know you'd bring that in. But as you talked in the beginning about your mom, and we felt what you felt, that helplessness almost is what can we do other than just invoke prayer and help that way. And now we have an answer. And I can remember that very first day when Helen and I came and knocked on your door and you gave us just 20 minutes.
20 minutes. That's it. 20 minutes.
That was it. Yeah. And I says, I think we can do it. We can do this in 20 minutes. Our van was out front. I had a couple of samples in my hands. We came in, sat down at your kitchen table, and it took a little longer than 20 minutes when we
I
shared.
I wouldn't let you guys go for 3 hours. So thank you.
Well, and then what you have done today in sharing with our audience the incredible individual that we have access to, and Dr. Kedar Prasad, is just amazing. In fact, as I was listening, participating today, waiting in the wings, I remembered a video where Dr. Prasad was a live on a live call. It was a call in to a presentation that we were doing in front of a group of people in Oregon, and Dr. Prasad was on the phone listening to this gentleman's testimony. And so, Jonathan, let me just share the video of this event. His name is David. He's standing up in front of the group, and you'll hear Dr. Prasad on a live phone call responding to what this gentleman experienced firsthand as it relates to diabetes. And then right after that, I've got another video of Dr. Prasad being interviewed by Dr. Court. And you've already mentioned that that's going to be happening again this coming Wednesday. So
wonderful.
Let me share David here with you quickly. This is in Grants Pass, Oregon. And this is this gentleman's experience with the microdaily and his own life. So here we go.
Tell us where you were 8 weeks ago, and Dr. Prasad is going to walk you through. Okay.
8 weeks ago, I was introduced to this product, and previous to that, my blood sugar A1C was in the 12s and low 13s. And after being on this product for 8 weeks, my last A1C was 5.7.
Ooh.
So I've had quite a bit of change in my life so far as the blood sugars and the numbers. I've also been on high blood pressure medicine. And I just recently had back surgery, upper and lower spine. And when I went for my lower spine surgery, my blood pressure was so low, they were thinking about not performing the surgery because it was so low.
Yeah.
So right now, after 8 weeks of being on this product, my blood sugars are in line. I no longer have my blood pressure medicine. I was on 3 different medications at one time. Now I'm down to just the one. And my ultimate goal is to get off all of them. And I'm quite sure that with the product that we're talking about today, I'll be able to do that, hopefully in the near future, and love the opportunity to share.
Sure.
How's that, Jonathan? I mean,
Amazing.
does that just kind of put an exclamation point on what our discussion has been today?
That's amazing.
It's just eight weeks, and this gentleman's life has completely turned around. And it's not just the diabetes that we're talking about, but as part of your discussion about diabetes, you mentioned they're now starting to talk about not just diabetes type 1, type 2, but this next little video clip that where Dr. Court, Russell Court, is interviewing Dr. Prasad in front of a group of people. Pay attention to what Dr. Prasad mentions and Dr. Court references, and even somebody from the audience clarifies as to what they're calling diabetes type 3. Let me just share this with everyone quickly.
What I think is your 260th peer-reviewed paper on Alzheimer's and dementia. And what journal was that in?
It was a mechanism of development and aging.
Right. So I know that seems to be a hot topic for people. And when we were talking last day, we were talking about whether it's genetic. Alzheimer's is genetic. And my sister actually put out a thing on Facebook about that my grandfather and my mom and my dad all have had Alzheimer's. And you said, how old? And I said, well, they were all 80. And you said, oh, it's acquired. It's not genetic.
No.
And I kind of sat back and he goes, hey, you don't need to get that. You don't need to get that.
No,
You can take something for that. You can put it in your body. You can decrease your oxidative stress.
Right.
You can increase your antioxidants.
Right.
And you don't have to get that, or you can actually prolong the onset of many of these chronic diseases
that's right.
if you can decrease the inflammation and the oxidative stress in your body.
That's correct.
Well, I think that's a great lunch topic. And then there's another one that we talked about, which is actually Alzheimer's, is called diabetes type 3. That's what they're starting to lean towards.
Say that again?
They're calling it diabetes type 3.
Alzheimer's?
Mhm.
Really?
And, yep. And so we have another study coming out from MMF, another human study on diabetes. And I know you can't give us too much about that,
No, only thing they are,
but can you give us anything?
only thing I can say.
I'm going to leave you
Wow.
all teased about that. But I mean, goodness gracious, talk
Wow.
about access to one of the world's most premier scientists. And he is here helping us help so many others. It's just amazing, Jonathan, what we have access to through Dr. Prasad. And you've done such an incredible job just laying this all out for anyone today. I want to ask, just like you did earlier, are there questions from anybody that is on today's call? Before we kind of wind things up, and I give you a little tease for Wednesday, this coming Wednesday. Jonathan, I'm going to turn it back to you and see if there's anybody that has some questions for us.
Beth is not going to be bringing her stories on. Okay, all right, good.
Well, no, I'm going to. You know what? Beth has just been blowing up the chat. She's added quite a bit there. Beth, are you at a place where you could come on and talk a little bit about this? I was going to bring a cover of your book on as a little teaser for Wednesday night.
Okay, gotcha.
Beth is actually the author of Backyard Secrets Exposed, and Beth, you've joined us here today for Jonathan's comments on diabetes. Can we pull you onto screen for just a moment? There she is.
Well, thank you for writing that book, Beth.
Well, thank you. So we're going to have a little bit of talk on Wednesday with Dr. Prasad and Dr. Court and Linda. And I'm going to be telling a little bit about my story of being poisoned by electromagnetic fields by living too close to high tension power lines and being exposed to a chemical that was sprayed under the power lines. And I got the drift in my backyard when I was working in my backyard. And it shut me down for about 14 years. So getting this micro daily has really helped me. I've been on it. April 8th will be a year. So I'm very excited.
Wonderful, wonderful. We're definitely looking forward to that. And I will make sure that everyone gets a copy of that flyer and can make it to that meeting on Wednesday night. Thank you very much, Beth, for sharing that and for writing that book. I can't wait to get my copy of it.
All right, thanks.
Okay, so Jeff, let's do that. Let's see if there's any questions about anything that we've discussed today so far. Any questions? And if anyone has a diabetes story and would like to share it, that's fine too. We'll be happy to hear that. We always like to capture that whenever we can. If there's no questions, then that's great, because we didn't want the meeting to go super long today. We want to just make sure that we covered all of the main points. James has a question. Go ahead, James, or comment.
Well, it's not concerning high blood pressure or diabetes, but I've noticed lately my eyesight is getting better. As you notice, I don't have my glasses on.
Oh, wow.
So I'm sitting not all the way, but I'm sitting a little better. Now my glasses, it's a little furry now.
That's excellent. That's excellent. So we're looking forward to hearing your stories as they go forward. Appreciate that so much, James. Thank you. Very good, very good. All right, and let's see. Okay, so it looks like we covered everything then, Jeff. There's no other questions that are floating out there. We've had some outstanding. So, oh, wait a minute. Someone has an EMF testimony that they want to share. Sally's daughter.
Yeah, well, she's here, but she won't come on camera. But she started we were kind of hesitant about her taking them, but then she decided she really wanted to take them because she was taking something else she ran out of. And she has hallucinations, like and it's from whenever the power goes out. We know that's what causes it, because when the power goes out, the voices disappear, the hallucinations and everything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so has to do with that. So she took the micronutrient, the two she was taking, there's two of them, bottles that she got, and she took 2 each, was it? I think she took, or how many did you take?
3 this morning.
Yeah,
and
3
3 for supper.
And 3 this morning, 3 for supper, the same as yesterday. But as soon as it could have happened that fast though, that her mind just went clear so fast. We just couldn't really,
wow.
We don't know what's in it or what. But it was clear, and a very little bit comes
Thinking
back.
clear.
What, honey?
Thinking clear.
She's thinking clear, she says.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
My-
we're just really happy.
Did you
about
hear that, Jeff?
Oh my goodness. I did. In fact, I'd love them to come back on Wednesday night, and they're going to see exactly why that's happening. Linda's going to come on. Hopefully she will have been able to pull together some live blood sample videos of people who are in that kind of a state. They've been electromagnetically exposed, and the blood looks different. And within just a matter of ingesting 3 of those microdaily EMF capsules underneath the tongue, 20 minutes later, so that hopefully some of those videos will come about. But she's explained it to us, and she'll be back here on Wednesday to fill in the rest of the story. So I had no idea we'd have such a teaser for Wednesday call, but thank you for coming on this Sunday evening and giving us firsthand examples, and then the questions that go along with that to say, really, could this be happening?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I thank Lori for introducing me to it, and also sharing her story, because she even studied for next week, like her Bibles, her answers she wants to give, and her mind's more like cognitive, like she's connecting things much better.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah, she's really enjoying her. People understand. Right now, she's doing a crossword puzzle, which she usually doesn't feel like doing much of anything. She does a routine, but it's very hard for her. So this is really great.
Oh, that is just so wonderful to hear. Thank you very much for being willing to share that story with us. And thank you, Lori, for introducing a potential solution to you. So she must really care about you to have done that. So thank you.
And thank you both too, always. Thank you.
So that's pretty amazing, Jeff. So we're talking about something that's very, very powerful. We're not talking about EMF today, but boy, it was sure nice to get that one plugged in there. So Belinda has a comment or a question that you want to sneak in here before we conclude.
Yes. Good evening. Thank you. How long has she been on the EMF? How long has she been on it?
Sally, how long has your daughter been on EMF before she noticed the difference?
She just started yesterday morning. She just
yesterday
took around 8 o'clock, and she just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I was just so thrilled, so happy.
Okay.
She's not depressed. She just told me too, because often she was she'd get very depressed, I guess, with everything. It was hard, all the time. The voices and hallucinations she would see.
Wow.
Thank you. Wow.
Thank you for asking that question, Belinda. So yesterday. Okay. That's amazing. Donnell?
I just had a quick question. Did I miss the information for the EMF meeting on Wednesday, or was it just not given yet?
It was flashed on the screen there for a couple seconds, and I think Jeff will put that back up again.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
And let's make that a little bit larger, and
I'll just
so
for
it's
those that
easier.
are for those that are calling in and cannot see the screen, you just want to at 6 p.m. Mountain Time on Wednesday. Dr. Prasad is going to be on there, and the meeting ID, that's all you're going to need, is 291-248-252. Once again, meeting ID for Wednesday, March 30th, 6 p.m. Mountain Time is 291-248-252.
And that's 2 hours difference from East Coast, right, Jeff? So
That
that
is
would
correct.
be that would be 8 p.m. Eastern time.
Correct.
All right, very good. Thank you. And Norma Jean has a question.
I don't have a question. I'm off camera today, but I just wanted to give a little testimonial for the Mentholatum. I have a client that comes, and I was introducing her to the product. Well, she was somewhat curious, and she wanted to know, well, can I have some of yours and I can try it before I can buy it? And I said, I don't think it's going to work that fast for you. She says, well, just give me 2. And she was here the Saturday. I gave her 2 of the Mentholatum. That's the purple bottle. And the Monday, she came back and she signed up as a preferred customer. She said that she could feel the difference. Her head felt so much clearer. She said she felt so different that she wanted a whole bottle for herself, because I told her I could not share mine. And I just wanted everyone to know that this product really works. And for 2 capsules to work for her to make that type of a decision is awesome.
Yeah, that's wonderful. It doesn't surprise us at all. And that's why we have a free sample program. So if you know someone that would like to have a free sample, even today, I've got a number of free samples that I'm willing to send out. The company will send out free samples to individuals. So just let us know, and we'll be happy to make arrangements for them to receive a free sample. Thank you very much, Norma Jean, for sharing that story. Alfreda, please. Go ahead, Jeff. I'm
I
sorry.
was just say that's incredible, but I feel the same way. Once you're on the Micro Daily, it's like, get your own. I don't, you know.
Yep, I know. It's kind of hard to give it up. Go ahead, Alfreda.
Hi, everybody. My video isn't working today, but Jonathan, I just wanted to let you know or give you an update about David. We talked to him earlier in the week.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so I went and gave him the products. David has been subject to skin cancers in the past, and he had been cleared in the past, but his doctor suspects that it has returned, and it's in his temple. He said he had 3 spots, going up the side of his face, right before his ear. So I know, Jonathan, you had asked him to do 12 a day. So wasn't able to do that. I had a bottle of methylated that I sold him, and then I gave him 20 packets of half of my box of, or almost half of my box of the hydro. So I said, well, and then he became a preferred customer. So, and bought those 2 things. So he is doing 6 a day. So today when I talked to him, he said that that area where he could see like 3 different patches or whatever, 2 of them fell off.
Wow.
And I was like, what? Yeah, it haven't even been a week. He started on Wednesday, and so he's in the process of waiting. The doctors did their original blood test, and so he's waiting to meet with them again so they can give their diagnosis and do another test to see where he is. So I'm like, all right, well, just keep doing what you're doing, but he just said how they just kind of just fell off, and I was like, wow, and you don't know what to expect. You just check in with people. So I requested that he start journaling, because I said what you're doing is going to help somebody else. So we need to know how it's affecting you, what you're doing, how many you're taking a day, and all that kind of stuff. And so,
And any pictures, any pictures that you can take also would
okay,
help.
that's good. Pictures before and after. So because it will always help the next person who may be going through the same thing, and we have something that a story, somebody's personal story to share that was successful.
That's
So
right.
I'm excited about that. So
Well, you ought to be.
yeah, I
You ought to
can't wait
be.
to hear what else is going to happen. So
That's wonderful. Thank you very much for the update. That's an update from last week's discussion on cancer, folks. So that's nice to hear. Thank you very much, Alfreda, for bringing that one
all
up
right,
for
he'll
us.
probably be on next Sunday. He was traveling today, so
Excellent. That'll be wonderful. All right, good. We've got a couple more here, Jeff.
Oh yeah. Well, before you pull in Donald's flip phone, say that quickly. I'm going to the chat, and many of you didn't see this because it was just a direct message in there. But one of the first people that came on this evening, Donnell, is asking in the chat, well, how does she get a free sample? And I'm going to say to anybody who is on to this afternoon, early evening's a presentation that wants to know more, get back with the individual who shared this link with you, who has invited you on to hear about these incredible micronutrient supplements, and they can facilitate that. It's handled very easily through an app that those of us that are affiliates, we have right on our phone, and it's just say, send a sample to, and as long as we've got the information and a correct mailing address, that sample will go out. So yes, Jonathan, it's like you had mentioned, you've got samples that you can share, but get back with the person who invited you on, and we'll definitely get those samples to you.
Very good. Thank you. Donald Z Flip 3.
It's me, Don.
Oh, Don Hines, how are you, my friend?
Yeah. Hey, just quickly, an acquaintance that I was talking to has juvenile diabetes, and he wanted to die. He wanted to commit suicide, but he was afraid of being tortured for the rest of his life, or being tortured if he did that for an eternity. So I helped him to appreciate that wouldn't happen. And believe it or not, I did such a fine job that when I left, he busted all his medicine up and started on that path of committing suicide. And I found out the next morning, next day at 12 o'clock, I get a phone call. And so I rush over to him and got him to turn around. I didn't mean for you to go on just because you're not going to be tortured. So anyway, he wants to give up on life because he has to wake up in the middle of the night and give shots, and he's just wore out doing this. What is the best thing? What's the success of juvenile diabetes? He's 39 years old. Tired of it.
That's a very, very good question. Juvenile diabetes, of course, is much more difficult to deal with. We're talking now type 1, but from everything that I've heard and seen is that type 1 diabetics have been able to manage their diabetes better. They've been able to manage their sugar levels better by adding this micronutrient to their diet. So taking sufficient quantities of it would definitely help them. And the hydro has been very helpful with some of those folks. So suggest that maybe he take it 2 or 3 times a day with every meal, and that he could benefit from that. Jeff, have you had any stories in your group with that?
I do. I can't immediately put my hands on the video, but I remember a nurse out of the Dallas, Texas area that was wearing an insulin pump. and in managing it with the physician that she sees about her diabetes, she was able to demonstrate with the printout of that that part of her body now, that insulin pump is being required so much less than it was prior to the micro daily going into her diet. So I'll try and find that video. But we've seen it in numerous cases with individuals with type 1 where their bodies are just able to use the insulin that they're taking at a much more effective rate. So it's like their insulin usage goes down, and they're still deriving the benefit from not having that organ that produces the insulin naturally.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. Thank you, Don, for
Catrice is in the chat, and she says yes, she has type 2 diabetes and is still taking the product. So she is referencing the nurse that I remember standing in front of the group of people. So
yeah, okay, very good, excellent. Someone just raised a question, why hydro suggested Prasad for some of these situations over the other versions? Is it just because it's liquid or more sublingual? We get asked that a lot. Okay, good question. Hydro does act quicker. It takes the body less time to break it down, so it's a faster acting effect on the on sugar levels. So that's one of the reasons for it. I still personally prefer, as a minimum, the methylated formula because of the absorption of the B12 and the folate. So if a person prefers hydro, I would recommend just alternating between hydro and the methylated, so you get the benefits of the methylated B12 and the hydro, if that's your preference. So that would be the reason for it. Okay, quick absorption. Okay, Rose White, you have a comment or question?
Rose, you're going to need to unmute yourself.
Sorry. Yes, thank you. I have a comment and a question. I have a preferred customer, very elderly, and she first canceled after 2 shipments, and she said, stop it. And so I stopped it, and then she also stopped her daughters because she wants to send her daughters, but her daughter didn't like it. And all of a sudden, after 2 months, she called again, order me. So she started ordering. Now she's sharing it to her other daughter. And she just called me right now. And it's just so happened, I said, join the meeting right now. But I think they are just visiting the mother, and they cannot waste the time that's supposed to be with their mother. But she wants the information about it because she has a good position in the mental government office or something in Colorado. But she's asking me if I can send the Engage Global website. I don't know how to send it through the
No problem, Rose. I'll give you a call and I'll walk you through it. We'll make sure she gets at the website.
Yeah, I just didn't know where this was going with you, Rose. You're like, come on, and she's asked me to stop it, and she's asked me to stop her daughters, and it's like, oh no, I hope it's not.
No, she's sharing it to her family.
Yeah, but as soon as they're without it, that I've gotten a lot of customers. As soon as it's like, oh, I don't feel much different about it until they don't have it. And so
she loves it. She loves it. And before she went to a wedding 2 weeks ago, she was in a hurry. Where's my micro daily? So it happened that it came to me because she was stopping it. And so I said, I have to get it. The address given there is where they sent her. So it's in my address. So I present it to her.
Okay.
At least she got it before she went to the wedding. And now she's calling me about, she gave her daughter's name and her son's name to share it.
That's wonderful.
And
That's
with
wonderful.
and with the affiliate program, Jonathan, is if she understands the affiliate program for $30, she's going to make a commission off of her son and her daughter. And
yeah, I would try that, but the mother can't do that because she's not also a tech savvy just like me.
pick up
We've
the
been
phone.
talking about
Yeah.
it.
Just dial 801-655-4501 during business hours. And it works. It works every time.
Every time.
Engage
Yeah, I
customer
know.
service
That's
is amazing.
that's what I do.
All right.
Thank you very much, Rose. That's wonderful. Well, it never ends, Jeff. See, that's what happens. It's you get the benefits and you just can't go without it. That's all it is to it. You just can't go without it. Someone asked a question: is there a password for Wednesday night? No, there's no password for Wednesday night's program. So just all you need is the ID to get on. Rhonda Johnson has a question. Please go ahead.
Hi. Yes, I'm a friend of Norma and Alfreda in Cleveland, but I'm on waiting for my first order, and it's on back order. So can you send me some sample, please?
Absolutely. Yep. Norma, we will work that out with Norma and Alfreda. We will make sure that you get some samples. So that's
They sent me some samples and I didn't receive that either, or the order.
okay. Well, we will definitely work on that. We'll make that a priority. Okay, Rhonda?
Yeah, and I followed up with several others that are also waiting on their methylated formulation. That is the product that's stocked out momentarily, and we've got it back in the warehouse as of tomorrow. So Monday, it will start shipping. So you'll see it probably faster than Jonathan can get you samples. But I did follow up on that, and so methylated will be shipping Monday.
I tried to warn him, Dave, that I was encouraging everybody to go to the methylated. It's a superior product. It just works so much better. I mean, EMF after Wednesday, everyone's going to go to EMF, but just a much better product. So thank you. Okay, Rhonda, we'll do some follow up and we'll make sure that you don't go without. Okay.
Okay.
Good. Okay. Well, very good, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. So just officially to bring our meeting to an end, my name is Jonathan Jones. My co-host here was Jeff Ashby. And Jeff Ashby was the gentleman who introduced Micro Daily to me, and I'm eternally grateful to him and his wife that they tolerated my, I'm going to say arrogance of saying come over for 20 minutes because I didn't let him go for 3 hours that we talked about the product. But the information that we shared with you here today is all public information. If you want access to any of it, just send an email. My email address is jonathan@hcstraaa.com. Jonathan@hcstraaa.com. So you can feel free to just send me an email, or you can text me 754-300-8909. 754-300-8909. Don't call. I don't do well with a phone call. My phone rings all day. But text messages and emails, I can get back to those and handle that for you. But don't forget about this Wednesday night. That's a very important meeting. You want to get every single person that you care about on that call this coming Wednesday night. It could be life-changing information, because just because you don't fully understand EMF does not mean you're not being affected by it. 5G is real. Even if you don't have a 5G, even if whoever that is that has a flip phone here, Don Hines still has a flip phone, doesn't mean anything. You're being affected by 5G. Everybody's being bathed with it, whether we want it or not. So you need to know about this. So a very important program. Testimonials are purely anecdotal. What happens to one person may or may not happen to you. None of the comments that we made here today have been evaluated by the FDA. We strongly recommend that you seek the competent medical advice of professionals that you trust. Seek medical advice. But our suggestion is take charge of your health and live a healthier life, and potentially you can get the same results that many others have gotten already so far. Okay, so thank you folks very much for joining us. And by the way, for any who would like to that are interested in the business, just stick around for a few minutes, and we're going to have a 10-minute business meeting immediately following this discussion. So Jeff is going to stay on for us. We're going to have a 10-minute, 9-minute and 59-second business meeting just immediately to follow. So thank you everyone for joining us. Bye-bye.
Ma.
Take care, everybody.
Ma.
Have a good day.
Bye.
We're staying on.
Wait, I can't log on. Where's the leave meeting?
If you're on a computer, the leave meeting is at the bottom right-hand corner. Red, it says leave.
Thanks, Kathy. But we don't want them to.
Well, Kathy will throw you out in a heartbeat now.
But you can stay.
Oh, nice save. Nice save.
I think Kathy's the one that invented that statement. You don't have to go home. We go back many years, so we can talk like that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the business. When it comes to Engage Global, no, let's talk about network marketing first, just as a brief introduction. $1,000 flip phone. Okay, all right, thanks, Don. My personal history with network marketing goes back decades. I thought network marketing was the biggest Ponzi pyramid scheme that there was, and that even though it was legal, that the companies were only focused on filling my garage with product. I was the end user. So I was totally done with network marketing. In 2003, I was in foreclosure and just a few weeks away from losing my house. In fact, I had a letter in my hand that said, Mr. Jones, your house is being sold on the courthouse steps next Tuesday. A network marketing company, a friend of mine, introduced me to a powerful network marketing company. And the product was really good. It raised glutathione levels, really good product. And I saw a marketing piece that they made, and I decided to share it with about 12 people. And all 12 people, it had about an 80% success rate, the marketing piece. And that made me realize that it's not so much the companies that are evil, and it's not that products are bad. They can be very good. In fact, with that particular company, in 10 months' time, I was making a substantial amount of money, and that lasted for quite a while. And it changed my viewpoint of network marketing. Network marketing can be very, very good. The key to being with the right network marketing company is having a good product, and not just a good product, one that has science behind it and one that has a solid company behind it. If the company is not good, doesn't matter how great the product is, because you're just going to fall on your face. But if there's no integrity in the company, it's all about building the company up and then pulling the rug out from under you. That's what it is. We're very fortunate that with this particular opportunity and this particular company, that there's one gentleman that has the highest level of integrity at the helm. He doesn't answer to shareholders, because it's not a public company. It's privately owned and privately funded by one individual. That's David Nemelka. And we're going to have David come back on so he can help us with understanding the business opportunity. But I'm telling you from a down in the trenches, a layman's point of view, that makes a difference. Because if there are partners and they have a say in what happens with the company, you got a 50-50 chance of where your future lies. But this man's goal, he reaches into his pocket over and over and over again to continue funding this. There were problems in the early days. Dave Nemelka has powered through all of those initial problems. And that's what brings us to where we are right now. Now, if the product was less of a product, I would have gone a long time ago, because those early day problems were significant. But today, those problems don't exist. Minor little issues come up, like we just heard today about methylated, being on back order. I mean, that's a problem to have. That means everybody wants the product. And the only thing that happened was we're all dealing with supply chain issues right now. This company, just like any other company, is dealing with supply chain issues. They just had, what, a 5% increase in price? I got a letter from a previous company that I work with, and they said, oh, by the way, as we do every year, we're having a price increase coming up. The letter said every year. The first time I've ever even heard about a price increase in the 6-7 years that I've been associated with this company was just this year. And only 5%. They went from $49.95 to $52 and change. We have an opportunity here right now. What does it cost to get started? I'm comfortable with recruiting people for $1,000. I have no problem with that, because I believe anybody can put $1,000 on a credit card if they see a good enough opportunity. I believe that can happen. But I don't have to, because it only costs $30 to become an affiliate now. $30. And in 7 days, you can make that back and then some. So there's a real opportunity here with this company. So I just want to lay that foundation for you. That's the reason why I'm here. And that's the reason why I'm going forward. And that's the reason why I'm devoting a considerable amount of new resources behind my future endeavor with this company and taking it to the next level. But Jeff, if you want to try to help our friends know how to get started, for those who are brand new and for those who want to move forward with it, please, Jeff.
Oh, my goodness, Jonathan, just your passion as it comes through, giving us a little insight into what brings you to this day with that kind of drive, that kind of desire to not just help yourself, but help so many others. That's contagious. I mean, it's got me asking, where do I sign up again? Because it is, this is such a critical time in the world's history, and with everybody now just being hyper aware of their own immune systems. When we're talking about the things that we have today with diabetes, the significance of it. You know, what I shared with Miss Rose White as she was on, and we thought it was going to be her customers are dropping off. They pause that auto ship until they realize the significance of it, and the turnaround of that story, and then the explanation that I offered to this mother. I mean, for $30, that's for the cost of a brain boost, you're in business. And you can go out, and we suggest that have the first sign up, your first sign up as a new affiliate, be a family member, so that you're reducing the household expenses utilizing this incredible marketing platform that an individual that you hold in high esteem now. And we just heard how you feel about David Nemelka and what he's done. He's the one that has put his belief behind this by offering 100% commission on that first subscription order. 100% commission on that first subscription order. The subscription just needs to run 2 more times. And it's an amazing opportunity, a compensation plan that I've never seen until now. And I'm so grateful that it is ours to share with the world as we share the product that we have with MicroDaily. So one of the things that I learned from a mentor of mine in this industry, and he used to say it all the time, Jeff, you know what? An opportunity of a lifetime is only as good as the lifetime of that opportunity. And it really hit home, particularly this last week on Wednesday. And I just pulled this up on my phone. I'm not going to share the entire text, but it says, this is another company that is in this space, and my heart just goes out to them. But it says, after dealing with the pandemic over the last 2 years, plus the unexpected and unchecked inflammatory costs in nearly all steps of production across the board, the board of directors have met and decided to suspend this MLM company. And it sends just tremors through. My heart goes out to these individuals because I know what they have put into it. And I'm so grateful that we have somebody with the integrity of David Nemelka at the helm. And as you mentioned, Jonathan, he's reached into his own pocket at times to keep this going. And our involvement, 9 years, just like you mentioned, we have not had a price increase in 9 years until this last one, and it was 5%. Our bottles went from, like you said, $49.95, $49.99 to $53. So a $3. I mean, I wish just the gas would have held to that.
Yep.
It's amazing, but it all comes down to if I had videos lined up, how to become an affiliate, what to do, how to put this affiliate perks program into your pocket and really, financially benefit from it. But it's right back to Rose White and her preferred customer for $30. Now she can go out and enroll her son and her daughter and earn that Thursday. We get paid every Thursday on new business. That Thursday, she's going to earn what they spent, up to $150, which would be more than enough to cover her own purchases. And so with that kind of a sequence, sign up 3 affiliates, and you can start participating in the team building side of it. And I just say, get back with the individual who invited you on, get us on to help explain a little bit more about it. But we wanted to keep this section under that 9 minutes and 59 seconds, Jonathan. So I'm going to turn it back to you. If there's any other questions for those 20 plus people that have stayed with us, we're here for you.
Yes. Any questions? Anyone? Rose White, you have another question?
You'll need to turn their microphone on there again, Rose. Not shut your camera off,
Thank
but
you.
turn your microphone. Okay.
I was just gonna add to my comment that she called me now. The mother called me now that she's enrolling her daughter as an affiliate now, right now. So tomorrow I'm gonna call and enroll her.
It's that easy.
Bring them on, and we'll do the work for you.
I hope so. I hope she. So she's asking how much does she need. I said only $30. That's all. So she said charge it to my credit card account in your company.
Very good.
Enroll her.
What a success story! Thank you, Rose.
Thank
and
you.
it's actually been that simple. I've often just invited affiliates and health advocates to just bring their guest here. So I'm committed to providing an hour and a half every single Sunday, and Jeff will do the same thing. When I'm not available, Jeff's available. So this moment will always be here to where they can come and get a presentation and know how the product works and get answers to their questions about how they can use the product. So this is a stable point that you can always bring your prospects to, and we'll help you get them introduce the product to them. Sally, go ahead, please.
Okay, I was just wondering if different ones, well, a couple, they're on like a disability, and I don't know with Canada, if we, anyone becomes an affiliate, does that affect their finances? How much can they make, or like, how does that work? If just some idea about that, I just wondering.
Very, very good question. The answer to the question is you will eventually make enough money to have a problem with paying taxes.
Okay, that's good.
It will happen. Yeah. So it just depends on your level of commitment. If you want to stay under the income tax reporting level, you can stay there. You can just cruise under the radar. But if you want to have a problem, you can have a problem.
Yeah.
So it depends on how much you care about people. So look to your left, look to your right, the person in the grocery store line, the person at CVS or whatever your drugstores are called, no matter where they are, every other person has a health problem. because there's only two kinds of people in the world: those who are sick and those who don't know that they're sick. So that it's a guarantee. Now, if we're too pushy, yes, we can cause people to brush back.
Yeah.
But I always recommend a softer approach. Are you open? Are you open to a potential natural solution? The company has free samples. Are you open to hearing about something natural that has science behind it? Are you open to trying something that you may not have heard about yet? Are you open to trying something that the United States government's been giving to soldiers on the battlefield for years, but now it's available to the public? Just little things. If they say, no, thanks, I got what I need, what did you lose? You had no when you started.
Mm-hmm.
But a little question that says, yeah, tell me more. Now you just use that little app that Jeff mentioned, and you send them by the phone a piece of information. Most of the slides, several of the slides that I showed today came directly from the science brochure. You've got that entire science brochure in the app. You hold on to it, share, send. And it optimizes very nicely for being on a cell phone. And it's got all the raw science right there. Every single thing there, it can all be validated and researched. So don't push too hard. I had someone this past week trying to recruit me. They said, I know you like that product Micro Daily, but I got something that's much better than that. You should take a look at this video and tell me what you think. I don't know about you, but I was not in the least bit motivated because, first of all, she just told me that my product is garbage and she doesn't really know anything about it. And then basically looked down on me and said, you like that product. So that was condescending. But if you don't speak to someone in a condescending fashion, and one of the best affiliates here, she's not an affiliate anymore, she's health advocate of the highest level, Sister Dolores Levette. Dolores has got more customers. She's maxed out the customer comp plan. She gets 30% commissions on all her customers. And it's because they know she cares. So she doesn't ram anything down their throat. She doesn't belittle anything that they're already doing. She just offers something that could help them if what they're doing right now isn't working as well as they hoped it would. She's maxed out the customer comp, the compensation plan for the customer, the commission for our customers. That's the diamond level. Is it 30% level is what it is. So, but very simple, Sally. That's all it is. I don't know anything about the taxing program in Canada, but I expect that the government does want something out of you.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks very much, brother. Thanks.
You're very welcome. And Lori has a question.
Yes, I was wondering if there's been any issues with anyone being able to get the samples to show up, and like I've been having, like, I was trying to send out 3 text messages or have the program to send out the text messages for the free samples, and that they always say they don't receive the message. I don't know if it maybe something in their phone blocking, or they're just not noticing.
That's a good question. Jeff, any ideas? And I know personally, I do know that there are now spam blockers on a lot of phones. My phone, I've got a spam blocker, and if I haven't approved it, I can block everything. So it is possible that there's filters that could knock it out because it's coming from a third-party number. So, but Jeff, anything that you have seen with that?
Exactly what you're saying, Jonathan. There are blockers that are out there. I will typically get somebody on the phone and they are expecting it. I don't randomly just send out text messages. Hey, click here to get a free sample. I tend to honor my relationships with other individuals at a higher level than, just a spam text. It's, they are expecting something, and then I will follow up and say, if you didn't get the text message, check, I could send it again. But, and
this is going through the app, right?
This is, well, we actually have a text service where those that have a platinum account, which we do, we spent a couple $100, we got a platinum account, so we have our own number, and it is just text free sample to this number, and then the automated bot takes over and captures all of their information.
Right.
But even when I'm using that, I'll follow up with the individual, and say, hey, did that come through? Did you text free sample to that number? And then we actually have access to a report that shows whether or not they responded. And so we can, if you go ahead.
I also have that on text. I don't know if it's the exact thing. It sounds like the exact thing though.
Yep.
And it tells me if it says, well, sometimes people take a little while to respond. If they haven't really responded yet, it will tell me that they haven't responded yet.
Yep. And it'll key back in on you and say, you may want to follow up. They made 3 attempts to reach out to them and there has been no response. So they're kind of, handing the ball back off to you.
Okay. How do I get them, maybe help direct them to make their phone available so they can receive that text? I mean, they can't get the free sample without receiving that text, correct?
Oh, no, you can actually go through the app on your phone, not the text messaging service, but you can go into the app and it says right there on the app, send a sample. And if you've got their correct shipping
address,
their mailing address, you can facilitate that entire sampling portion by doing it. So just do it through the app. In fact, I was going to just pull it up here. I don't have my phone set up to.
I had 3 samples that have expired now because I wasn't able to get it to them. So I don't know if they would honor that or not. Do you know?
You know what? You've it's down to, you've got 2 weeks to use those samples, but it's just on the phone right at the bottom. You can see it says right next to tools, it says samples. You click on samples and it's going to load them up. There you go. There's your samples. You can send them right from there if you've got their information.
Okay, thank you. I'll check it out.
Just right along the bottom, it says tools, and then there's a little what looks like a little package, almost like a purse, but just samples. That's how you do it.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Thank you for your question, Lori. Okay.
All right.
So we've gone past our 9-minute 59-second limit there, Jeff.
Wasn't my fault.
Yeah, that's if you weren't so long-winded, we would have been able to finish this up on time. But seriously, folks, we're serious about supporting you and helping you. 3-way calls do make a difference, so we're willing to do 3-way calls. And I'm going to be trying to make more and more of those short videos, testimonials available to you. So if you have stories, if you have a testimonial, call me up. Let's do a quick video, tell your story. And then those little video clips will be available and you'll be able to have access to the entire library of them yourself, that you'll be able to send them to someone that you can, that needs to hear a story. Because if people they relate more to stories than they do the technology, but we'll also keep sharing them here on Sundays as well. Okay. So one last thing, next week we have to move our time back a little bit on this Sunday meeting. So for how many years has it been now, Alfreda? 3 years. We've been at 4 o'clock. So I've got a meeting now that's going to jam me up, and I won't be able to make it at 4. So
do you want me to get on and start hosting it so that we keep the consistency of the time?
I'm 1 to 3.
Yeah, see, we got to bump back to 5 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm 1 to 3 also.
Okay. So, so 5 o'clock, everybody, we're going to just shift back, shift 1 hour instead of going a 30-minute, which would be questionable. Let's go 5 o'clock. Okay. So that may throw folks off a little bit at first. And what I'll do is I'll try to have, at the very least, for those who have to have something at 4 o'clock, at least a link to a video that they can do at 4 o'clock if they want to from the previous week. But our live meeting is going to be at 5 o'clock.
Do you want me to come on and just play some testimonial videos there for a half hour?
That would be fine.
Or an hour or whatever we need to do.
That'll be fine until folks get used to it. So that'll be good.
So are we going to be shifting the time from here on out?
Permanently, 5 o'clock.
It's going to be permanently 5 o'clock. Okay. Well, let's, I don't mind coming in next week. And for those that are on right at 4,
Right.
referencing this because we only have, 20 of them left here on
Right.
now. But yeah, let's direct them towards that 5 o'clock Eastern time. So
Good.
Okay.
So Jeff will take care of the 4 o'clock until we get everyone migrated over to 5 o'clock. Okay. Thank you, Jeff.
Alrighty.
Everybody, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And it's a real pleasure and a privilege to be working with you guys. So we'll see you next week. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
See you Wednesday.
Yeah, see you Wednesday night.
Wednesday night. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Most definitely.